The scream of children and the pop of confetti cannons barely masked the sound of my heart tearing in half. I was holding the cake, 12 candles flickering, when the front door swung open and he stepped inside. Tall, confident, familiar in a way that made my stomach drop. And my wife, Emily, froze so hard the smile died on her face mid-curve. For a moment, everything blurred. The room, the kids, the laughter, silent static. Only two things remained in focus: Emily's trembling hand on the gift table, and the stranger's eyes locking directly onto hers with a heat no casual acquaintance should have. "Sorry I'm late," he said, voice too warm, too intimate. "Emily invited me." Invited him. To our son's birthday. I kept my face still, steady, unmoved, because I knew if I reacted, the explosion would come too early. Instead, I set the cake down and wiped my hands on my jeans, pretending not to see the way Emily avoided looking at either of us. He moved closer, weaving between kids chasing balloons, his smile too familiar with the architecture of my home. "I'm Marcus," he said, extending a hand. I shook it. Firm grip. Slight smirk. My skin crawled. "How do you know my wife?" I asked casually, but my heartbeat hammered like fists on steel. Emily's head snapped up. His from work. "I told you about him." She hadn't. Or maybe she had, buried between mentions of deadlines and office drama. I suddenly remembered the late nights. The rushed showers. The quiet hum of her phone lighting up at odd hours, always face down. "Right," I said, forcing a nod. "Work." But Marcus didn't step back. "Actually, Emily helped me through a lot this year." His gaze lingered on her like a confession spoken without words. "She's been incredible." Emily's face reddened, not with pride. With guilt. My throat tightened. The first shard of truth pierced the denial I'd wrapped myself in for months. I felt everything at once: anger, love, terror, disbelief, and all of it churned in a nauseating spiral. I watched their micro-expressions, every flicker, every hesitation, collecting evidence I never asked for. Our son, unaware of the brewing storm, tugged my sleeve. "Dad, can we do cake now?" he whispered, eyes shining with birthday joy. I forced a smile. "Yeah, buddy. Let's do cake." I lit the candles with hands that shook more than the flames, feeling Marcus watching us. Watching her. And she kept glancing at him like he was gravity, and she was barely resisting the pull. When we all sang Happy Birthday, Emily's voice cracked. I looked at her, and she quickly looked away. That, more than anything, was the answer I didn't want. After the kids scattered to tear-open presents, I stepped toward her. "How long?" I whispered. Her breath hitched. "Not here," she begged, eyes glossy. But Marcus walked up, oblivious or uncaring. "Emily, could we talk later? About everything?" Everything. The word landed like a blade between us. I turned to her, voice low, barely contained. "He thinks you're talking later." Emily crumpled, guilt spilling out of her like she'd been holding her breath for months. "I tried to end it," she whispered. "Today was supposed to be goodbye." A laugh broke out of me, sharp, humorless. "You invited him to our son's birthday to say goodbye." That's when Marcus stepped closer, confusion tightening his brow. "Wait, he doesn't know." And the world split open. A dozen parents, kids, and balloons drifted around us, unaware that my marriage detonated in the living room between slices of chocolate cake. Emily covered her mouth, tears slipping through shaking fingers. "I'm sorry," she choked out. But it wasn't her apology that destroyed me. It was the tiny detail Marcus added in a panicked whisper meant only for her. "So, you didn't tell him about the baby either?" And everything went silent.